Subu, bringing crafting to you. Today I'm going to show you a box I've made to fit some whiskey and some chocolates in. I've been requested to show how to make this. So here we go. I'm just going to turn you around so you can see what I'm doing. So if you're seasick, please turn away. Okay, go on. There we go. So I don't know whether we're going to have enough light. I'm just going to switch my lights on to see whether it will give me any more light. Hopefully, I was hoping there would be enough natural light to do this. But so this is the box I've made. So it's for Christmas. And inside we've got some whiskey, some Lindt chocolates and Ritter Sports or whatever they're called in the bottom. So I'm going to show you how to make it. So first of all, you need to, for your box base, I'm going to start off with box base, that was the lid. So the box base, that measures full length of A4 paper by 9.5, and we're going to score this on all four sides at 1/4 inch and 1 7/8. So I'm just going to score it. I'm going to take out my cutting blade, so I'm not going to need that at the minute. So I'm going to remove my cutting blade today, just because my mind you, I'm doing it on a firmer table today, so it might be alright. So I'm just going to do all four sides at 1/4 inch. So all four sides. Hi Angela. Let's see. Hi Amanda. I'm doing the box that people have requested, so just showing how you did it. So that's the 1/4 inch on all four sides. Then I'm going to do 1 7/8 on all four sides. So I'm just lining that up. That's it. So 1 7/8. Turn around, so it's going to be on all four sides. And 1 7/8. And I'm using shaded spruce card. I'm going to be using the 'Tis the Season DSP as well to cover it. So have I done all four sides? Yes, I've done all four sides. So I'm just going to burnish all four sides now. So I'm just going to get my bone folder. And this 1/4 inch that I do at the top, this just makes the box have a little bit of a better finish and better edge than it just, when you fold it over, it just gives it that bit more stability. So even if I can only do 1/4 inch, which I can only do 1/4 inch on this, you'll see on the lid that I do a lot bigger to reinforce a lot bigger margin on the edge. But I'm just gonna fold and burnish. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut up just, oh sorry, yes I have done that score line. I haven't done all my internal score lines, so sorry, I'm just going to do my internal ones. Yeah, and that one there, and yes, I've done all four. So I'm just going to cut up just slightly, and only very slightly, to the left hand side of the score line, and I'm going to then notch. So I'm going to notch this edge here, and then I'm going to notch that. Now that's going to take off this bit here, so I'm going to notch that as far as the crease, and then when I turn it I'm going to wedge in a notch on that bit as well. There we go. So there's it. Just let me start at the top again. That's it. Now we don't need this piece here, so we can just cut that off. That won't show, so we don't have to worry about being straight. And this edge here, the little 1/4 of an inch, I'm just going to wedge that as well. So when we fold the box in, that these two here, that piece there, when we fold it over at the top, it gives it a little bit of room just there, so you're not making it bulky. So we're going to again cut up the score line, and this time I'm cutting slightly to the right, and it is minimal. It's just making sure that that score line is not showing. I'm again going to wedge up on either side. I'm not wedged up far enough because I don't need that piece on. So then I'm going to wedge in there. Let's see if I've got enough. I want to wedge in a little bit more to that. There we go. And again, we don't need that piece there, so I'm going to cut that off. And then what we've done to this side, we're going to repeat on here. So I'm going to cut up to the score line. I'm going to cut slightly to the right of the score line. This time I'm going to wedge on this side, then I'm going to wedge on this side. I'm going to cut off the top because we don't need it, and then go round to here and we're going to wedge. Am I in shot? I can't see. Okay, there we go. So this is what it's looking so far, and this we just want to wedge that little bit there. Again, we're cutting up the score line, and I'm going to wedge on the tab. Then I'm going to wedge on the other tab. Don't need this little bit here, so we're going to cut that off, and I'm going to wedge now on the 1/4 of an inch there. So, hi Trish. I can only see people who wave or say hello, so thank you. I've never had 11 people or 12 people watch me before. This is incredible. Thank you so much for popping by. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, because this makes it easier when the box is being set together, I'm getting my strong red tape, and I'm just going to, oh, I've missed wedging this one, look, so I'm just going to do this, but I'm just going to find my end of my tape, just put this tape on the 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to put this just on that 1/4 of an inch, and this will just hold it down and in place and help my box to set, so that I don't have to hang around for it setting. So I'm just putting this on the outside edges of those tabs that's going to fold over and make that neater edge for my box. So, hiya Marty, thank you for dropping by. Oh, and I've missed a wedge there. Just seeing it now. There we go. I'll just cut that off. And then the last one. So we're going to put that on there. There we go. It doesn't matter if you take this tape a little bit over the edge. It will not matter because we're going to line it with DSP anyway. So what I'm going to do now is get my glue, and I'm just going to start from any tab. It doesn't really matter. I just put it right at the end. Just put some on there, and then you're just going to bring those two together and make sure that you've got a nice straight line there. Okay, just hold that a second or two for it to join together, and then we're going to do the same on this side. Hi Julie, thank you for popping by. Again, we're going to, hi Rachel, thank you for popping by. Just make sure, hold it in place a second. Then we're going to work on these two tabs, and I have realised that I have not put my DSP on the outside, and I thought this time I'm going to do that before I assemble my box, but I haven't, so we'll do it afterwards, doesn't really matter. It's just easier for you if you put your DSP on first, but who wants to make life easy, eh? So I'm going to just glue the last final tab. I'll just position that, make sure it's nice and straight. Okay, and then I'm just going to use my piercing tool to fetch off my tape. Okay, so let's do that. So here we go. So I just hook it under and then just peel it off and then just bend it over. You probably can't see me doing this. I'll hold it up in a minute and rub my bone folder over it. So all I've done is bent it over, and so you've got a nicer edge here. This is why I like to do this. Even if you can only do it by 1/4 of an inch, it just makes, to me, all the difference on your boxes. And I do love making boxes, particularly at Christmas time when I make up presents. I do a lot of boxes, design all my own boxes to fit whatever I'm buying in them. Last year I did this same thing really. I used, because I've got somebody who really likes whiskey, so I did the whiskey and made the box and put the curvy keepsake, I think it's called, box within the box, and made a box around that. So that last year was tall and thin, so to disguise what it is, so they don't know it's the same thing really, because but if that's what they like, that's what they like. And they said whiskey every time, so there you go. So but today on this one, although I've put whiskey for that one, that other one that I've just showed you is for a male, this is for a female, so this one's going to put Baileys in. So just gonna get my tape off, and then that's all 4 edges done, and that just makes that box look so much neater there. And that one's that done. Right, so what I'm going to do is, that's for the lid. Now this is where I'm going to get in a mess because I haven't sorted my DSP out. I put it all together, and I could have done with separating it. Right, so remember it's 'tis the season. Yes, you can personalise it, very much so, Angela. This measures, let me get that one, 5 5/8 by 4 3/8. So this is going to line inside the bottom of the box. And remember I said this is 'tis the season DSP, and it's shaded spruce, the card that I'm using. This is really why I just absolutely love Stampin' Up, because all their DSPs and their cards will match, and the inks and the ribbons, and it just takes the effort out of things to make things look nice. It's just a breeze. It's just so easy. Right, so I now need the inside, and what did I decide for the inside? That can't be right. These must be right. Outside edges for the base. I should have sorted all my pieces out, shouldn't I, really? I might have to go ahead and make a few more things to get rid of a few pieces. DSP for base outside. So, right, we may as well stick these on, get rid of a few pieces. So, the DSP for the outside of the box, so, is 1.5 by 5 5/8 and 1.5 by 4.5. So the outside edges are 4.5. Now, when you've got the DSP, just have a look whether it's directional. This is not particularly directional, so it really doesn't matter which way I am sticking it. So that's top of the truffles. Where's my other one? Is that the outside? Must be, and there must be one more kicking about somewhere. So I'll come across that, make sure they're the same size. Yes, so these are for the outside size. So this again is 1.5, and this is by 5 5/8. So if it's directional, when you're cutting it, be careful to make sure that this is going to sit right on the right place. So I'm just making sure that's it. And then this is for the other side. So I'm going to make this fit the other side, and the other piece will turn up, I am sure. So that's definitely right for the outside. There we go. That's it. And I just need to find one more piece of that, see if I can. It seems to have disappeared. I don't know why. Can't find it. It might turn up in a bit as I carry on doing my bits and pieces. So, right, I need the lining for the inside. So I've decided to do a contrasting colour because this is, oh, here it is. Look, it's facing the wrong way, so I can put that on now. So you might have all been yelling, it's there. So that's fine, Angela. Enjoy your walk. It's nice that you've popped by. Thank you. So this goes on the end. There we go. So that's the outside of the box completed. And now I'm going to do the internal. So the internal, so that's the outside of the base. I can put that, let's put that there. I want to keep all my post-it notes because if I ever do it again, then I've got them ready to show. So this is 1.25, the internal one. So this is 1.25 by 4 3/8. So this is the one that's going to fit inside. Let me pick that up. Let's see, there's it. I'm hoping that this is the, I think it is, yeah, it's the biggest one, so it must be. Yeah, so just lining it up, making it even. That's why I like wet glue, because you've always got that little bit of riddle room if you're not happy with where it's gone. That's it. Just rub over with your bone folder. The longer pieces, so you'll need 2 of these. So your longer piece is 1.25 by 5 5/8. So the shorter pieces were 1 1/4 by 4 3/8, and your longer piece, which you need 2 of, your longer piece is, and you could actually make this a bit wider. I think I've made this a bit shorter actually than what I originally did. That's fine. Okay, and there we go. So the beauty of the pack of DSP is that within the pack the colours coordinate as well. So this is all from the same pack. So this green is the same green that's in the holly, and it's the shaded spruce. It will tell you, and they take the effort out of it, because they tell you what, when you buy a pack of DSP, it will tell you what colours you have got within the pack, so that you can buy that colour card, and then you can contrast your cards. So like this contrast, this has got the shaded spruce in it, so this is shaded spruce that I've put inside there. So that's part of it done, and then we're going now to make the truffle case. So for my truffle case, I need a piece that is 3 13/16. I'm sorry, I'm really into maths, so I do work in odd fractions sometimes. Just to be very truthful, this box that I made here, I actually started with the truffle tray, and I wanted to use up scrap pieces of card, so I started with the truffle tray to actually build the whole thing around it, and that's why you've got a funny measurement because that was what I had on hand. So that's 3 13/16 by 7 3/16. So I'm going to score that. So I'm bringing back in my trimmer. This is why I love the trimmer, because you've got a scoring blade as well as a cutting blade, and it makes it easy because you've got your 16s on it to be able to see. So this is why I tend to use my trimmer and scoring board rather than just a plain trimmer. So we have got, we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch all the way round. So I'm just going to score there at 3/4, rotate and score at 3/4. And if you notice, I'm working to the right of my board and not to the left, because this goes to about 1 1/2 roughly, and when you're doing little bits, it's easier to score on your right hand side. Because it holds it, this part here, the little bit of card you've got, it holds it steady for you when you're doing little marks. So if I did 3/4 of an inch here, I'd have a lot of card overhanging, and the flexibility, this makes it really stable. So what I'm going to do is, before I crease and burnish and cut, I'm going to just fold over one edge. And unfortunately, Stampin' Up, I've stopped doing this punch, but I'm going to use what I've got. So it is 1 3/8. So any circle punch that's around 1 3/8 will work. This particularly, with it being a scalloped edge, works really well because it actually holds the truffles in place. If I shake the box, turn it over, do all this with it in travel, the truffles don't move. So that's why I particularly have used this one and like this one. So I'm not going to worry if it's not dead centre, but I'm going to try and keep it as central as I can. I've put it all the way absolutely in, and then I'm just going to pull it back slightly. so that I'm trying to, it's a bit hard to tell you how I line it up really, but I'm not worried if it catches this on the back. So can you see, it's just, in fact that's a good way to show you, it's just got a little bit of the fold on there. So you can save that, don't chuck any of your bits away, save that because you can use that at another time. So now I've done that one, and I am lining it up with the score along this edge of my punch. So I'm going to again put it all the way in and then bring it back a fraction. I'm going to turn it over. Now I've put it in all the way, didn't I? Let me do that. So if I take it all the way in, pull it a little bit back so that you've got, I'm going to line it up with that edge there, my score line. So I'm lining it up, got a little bit, so I've got just a fraction. I don't know, can you see that there? Fraction, that's a bit better. And punch it out. Now I'm going to slide it along, and I'm looking to put it about the same amount there. That's about right. And I'm looking at either side of my circles that I've already punched to see if they look about central. To me, I think they do. I'm punching it out. And there, that's not bad. Okay? And so now we don't have to worry that these bits are missing, because those are going to be on the internal part of the box, so you will not see those at all. So don't forget, you can use these for labels, so don't throw them away. Right, now I'm going to stick my DSP, but the way I'm going to do it, the piece of DSP for the top is 5 10/16 by 2 3/16. So what we're going to do is, rather than stick it on the DSP and then mount it on here, I'm going to glue within the lines of my scores. So I'm going to take it all the way to the edge of where my score lines are, and then I'm going to make sure it's round my circles. That's it. Oops, put that on. That won't matter because that's going to be covered anyway. So I'm going to now put this on top. Now just let me think. Right, I tend to feel this has got a directional that's going to fit in my box like that. This paper has got a bit of a direction on it, so I'm going to make sure that it matches up the same way. So that's going to be that side. I don't want that way. I'm going to turn it round and put it the other way so it matches where I want it to be. And that's the beauty of wet glue. You can just simply do that. So I'm just lining that up, and so that edge is going to fit in my box like that. I've done it wrong again, haven't I? Let's see. That, yeah, it was the right way to start with. How annoying. So fetch it off again, put it back the way it was. I'll get it right in a minute, won't I? There we go. That's it. The beauty of my glue, it's still able to stick down. That's it. Now what I do for this is I turn it round, slot those back, and I'm really going to go in now to take the centre out of these. Do it this way so that it doesn't put strain on your punch. So I'm just going to make sure that's really lined up, and then just punch it out. Okay, and save those bits, take it along, line it up again with my punch. That's it, punch it out, and then again I'm gonna line it up again, punch it out. There we go. Okay, so now I've got my bit where my truffles go. Now before I start doing any of my cutting, I'm also going to put my piece of DSP, that this is the only bit that will show. So I'm going to make sure that it's facing the right direction, because this is directional. If I'd got that side, it wouldn't matter which side, which way I put it on. So just check your directions if you've got directional paper when you're cutting. So that's very important when you're cutting and when you are sticking it on, so that it's going to be the right way for you. So line that up. Let's get that right in position. Okay, and then just glue that down. So now I'm going to finally fold and burnish my crease lines. So I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure they're nice and crisp. There, okay. So now all I'm going to do is just exactly how we did it when we did the box base. I'm cutting slightly to the left of the score line. I'm going to notch up either side. Okay, repeat on this. This time I cut slightly to the right. The other one was to the left. Did I say right? I can't really remember. But you're just making sure that you are getting rid of the score line. That's all it is. Then I'm going to rotate it round and do the same. I'm going to cut up and then just take that little bit off. Just wedging it there. And then at this side again, to do that, just wedge it on either side. And then done that. Yeah, so I've done all 4 sides. So now all I'm going to do is glue my tabs, line them up, hold it for a second, and then get my other one that's coming apart. So another thing that I do is I put pegs on these sometimes. I didn't get my pegs out. Maybe just go back. Just make sure it's there. A good way of doing it is sticking that tape on. That's another thing that I do with things like this. But I'm just going to hold it there that second. And there we go. Do this one. Just hold that in place. Second. And then got this one. Okay, and then that is held there. So again, I'm looking at the direction in my box. I want my truffles over this side. My direction is correct, and all I'm going to do is stick glue on these outside pieces, all on here. And here. And then I'm just going to push that into my box like that. I'm just going to hold it a second or two. So it's gluing to the back walls and the sides. Okay, and then I can stick my truffles in there, and I'm just going to push them so it just catches in the actual box. There we go. Okay, so now we can do our next bit, and this will help with forcing this into position. So you want 2 pieces. Where are these? Truffle and right, so these are 2 1/4 by 1 7/8. So you need 2 of these, one for the bottom, one for the top. So on your short side, you are going to score at 15/16. So that is 1 mark off your 1. Okay, so we're going to just move that, and that is your centre piece. And then we're just going to go 1/4 on that side, turn it round and 180 degrees, and then do it on the other side. Okay, now all we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same to the other piece. So I'm going to score it at 15/16. I'm then going to score at 1/4, and then turning it around, score at 1/4. And just move my scoreboard out of the way again, and I'm just going to fold and burnish, but I'm going to fold it in half first, but then the 1/4 inch ones need to be folded over, and then the other one folded over. Right, now what we're going to do is we are going to just hold it in place, and then I've got my circle punch that's a 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm just going to line it up so that it, just let me have a look how deep that one was. So it's about, line it up centre, and it's just about that much. So we'll try that to start with and try and get it, eyeball it centre and click. Now we're not going to glue it at the moment, we're just going to see if that fits in. So we're just going to push that in there, we're not going to glue anything, so we're just going to push it in there and see if the bottle fits in there. Now that at the moment is making my bottle tilt sideways, so I'm just going to take a little bit more, and this is the way you do it, just slightly, because depending on what alcohol bottles you put in here will all depend how big you want this to be. So I'm just going to see if that sits there. I think that that might, that's okay. It's okay. Okay. Right. Let's see. I'm just going to try one more try. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so I'm just going to leave that a minute, and I'm just going to do a different type of thing on this one. So because this is not like this Whisky one, the Whisky one, because it's a rectangle, well, it might almost be square, it's actually a cuboid shape. What I did was I just cut down to the score line, so I just did about 1/4 inch cut down at either side and just bent that out of the way. If I'd have cut that, it had made these sides, I feel, too weak, so I've just pushed that out of the way. However, this one is a round one, and so I'm going to try it a little bit different. So I'm going to bring in my punch. Now that's where it's going to be tricky because it's not long enough. Don't know whether to actually look for a different punch. So I'm going to look for a 1-inch punch to see whether that, yeah, I'm going to try a 1-inch punch to see if I can hold it. Yes, so I'm getting it as much as I can in the middle, and I'm taking probably about 1/4. Just make sure that you've got it lined up level as well. Now I'm going to take that out, and I'm going to see if that's fitting in there. Now it's not wide enough, so I'm going to actually put my punch, and I'm going to slightly go in don't know whether you can see that I'm slightly going in like that, and I'm going to cut out that side, and I'm going to do exactly the same at the other side. So oh, my husband wants the chocolates and not the alcohol. And I'm going to just bend these up now so I can see where this is fitting. So I'm just going to roughly position those in. So I'm not gluing it in, I'm just positioning it to see whether it's holding it yet. So just a bit trial and error this bit, because of depending on what alcohol bottle you put in here. So that is still too high, so I'm going to go down deeper in this one. So again, I'm probably going to take it down now virtually to the actual cutting line, so my crease line. So there's very little now, so I'm just going to see whether that will work now. I still feel it just needs a little bit more, so I'm going to again go in at the edges and take a little bit off that side and a little bit off that side again, and that's not made it very round, so I'm going to go back in. So it's just a bit of trial and error, so it's getting that sort of shape. And then when we fold it, you can see there's not much there at the bottom. So I'm going to pop it back in again. That's better. Happy with that now. And the top, I'm happy with that. So that's how you do that. It's by trial and error. So now I can glue these in. So I'm going to take them a little bit further down so this sits closer to the bottom of the box. So I'm going to sit it like that. Yes, I think about there. So I'm just going to now open it up, and I'm going to glue these two parts together now. So that's putting those there and gluing them together. So I'm just going to put those down. So the shape is not too bad now. And then I'm going to open these up, and then I'm going to put glue on here. Now this will be good tear and tape. Obviously with doing it with glue, I've got a little bit of wiggle room. So I'm going to just roughly hover this down to where I want it. So I'm going to take it a little bit further down. I want it about there, I think. So let's just see. Yeah, that's where I want it. So now I'm just going to wipe off some of the glue got stuck. So I'm just going to rub that out of the way, because that's where my glue I don't want is. So I'm going to do that. Okay, just make sure that that is straight. There we go. And then the top one, I'm going to do exactly the same. I'm going to open it up. Keep trying to glue with my Baileys. Don't think that will glue. That's it. Close that up. Burnish it down. Open these two up. Glue down here. There we go, and I'm going to just hover. So I'm going to get my Baileys, put it in the bottom one, and see roughly where I want the top one to go before I'm placing it down properly. When I'm happy where it is, I can then spin my Baileys round. That's it, I'm happy with that. Right, now one of the things that I decided to do to make it not flop about is I'm sticking a Ritter Sport in. And by sticking that there, in fact I might stick 2 in this one, so I'm going to be kind to the person who has this one, and I'm going to stick a white chocolate one in. So I'm going to stick 2 in here at a slant. Okay, now that will stop the bottle from then moving about in packaging, hopefully. Okay, so that's the internal of the box, and now I'm going to do the lid. So first of all, we need to have a piece of shaded spruce that is the full length of an A4 sheet by 9 9/16. Okay, and I'm going to score this. So just move my packaging out of the way. So I'm going to score this at 7/8. Okay, so I'm going to use this side. Remember, I said it's easier when you're doing little ones to do it on the side, so it supports your card up here, so it's not going to walk about for you. So that is going to be 7/8. So I'm going to score it just to make it easy. I'm going to score it on 7/8 all the way round. Hi Laura, lovely for you to pop by and watch me. Thank you. Please don't forget to share my videos. If you share them on your links, it might just put it in the right place for people who want to do what I'm doing and purchase the products so that they can make exactly what I'm making. So if you share it, there is a button on my business page to be able to press for my shop. So if they want to purchase the things through me, and anybody who purchases will get a free gift from me as well. So now we've scored that at 7/8, we are now going to score it at 1 13/16. So we've got 1 13/16. So, and there we go. 1 13/16 on all 4 sides. So 1 13/16. 1 13/16. Okay, and the last one, 1 13/16. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to make it easier for myself this time. This is going to be the top of the box, so I'm going to put my DSP on straight away. This has not got a direction, so it doesn't matter which way I am sticking it on the box. So I'm going to stick that on the top. Okay, and so I'm just looking where my score lines are, so I'm just putting it in the middle of my score lines. That's it. Okay, and the bottom part of it will stick internally wrapped, so we are going to not stick it on this side, because when we wrap it round, that side tucks under and then we have got that side. So this is the outside and that's the inside. Oh yes, so I can do that. Yep. So I have just done the length, and these are 4.5 in width, so that will go on there, and that one will go on there, and then the length is 5/8. Now I thought I'd wrote the measurements of this for the width, so I'll just tell you what the width is, and the width is 3/4 of an inch. No, just slightly over. Sorry, it is 16ths again. So it's 8, 9, 16ths. So 9/16 is the width. Okay, so we can put these all in place before I start cutting up now. There we go. So again, I'm looking for matching it in the score lines. I'm going to hold it up so I can see where the score lines are. Okay, so I'm just putting it in the middle, and then this will go down the length. And again, this is not directional paper, so I've not got to worry about this either. And the beauty of the paper is it's double-sided, so you've got the opportunity to use whatever colour you fancy either side. There we go. Okay, to the bottom, so in between my score lines, and then this side in between my score lines. Okay, now I'm wondering if because I've now used up all my DSP that I've cut, I'm just going to check whether I did line it. No, I didn't. That's fine. Okay, so we've got our DSP on now. So now we're going to cut up. So the first thing we're going to do is this piece here, that wants to be slightly notched, but be careful because this one needs to be cut straight down. So the first bit of the square you're going to notch off, and then you're going to cut down that score line. Again, you can then, let's cut this piece totally off then so you can see. So the two end squares now I'm totally cutting off out of my way, don't need those. And then cutting down, but at this time I'm wedging on this side and I need to wedge on that side. So that leaves you that like that. Now this I'm going to I'm going to slightly wedge down, but don't cut your flap off. Okay, that mustn't be cut off because that is the piece that's going to make up your box lid. So again, I'm going to slightly wedge the top, but then when I go into that next square, I'm cutting straight down that score line. Okay, and then I'm going to cut these two off out of my way. Them two squares out of my way. And then I'm going to, I think I've done this where I'm going to do the windmill one. So I'm going to, what I mean by windmill is I am cutting, that will be that way, this will be this way, that will be that way, and that. So that's what I mean by windmill. So I'm cutting off slightly, angling it, and then this one, this top part, I'm putting a slight wedge in, but only as far as this flap. We mustn't cut the flap off. Okay, so that's how it looks so far. And then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to cut at an angle again. So I'm going to put that wedge into the first score line, then I'm going to cut down that score line straight. Then I'm going to get rid of those two, we don't need them. Then I'm going to wedge on this side, go back to the flap and wedge that side. And I don't think I cut down that score line, it's straight enough, so I've just gone in there and cut it down. That's easy. That's it. Pull that out of the way. So now turning round, I'm going to slightly wedge this side. Okay, don't cut into that tab. Remember that tab needs to be holding it. I've just fetched a little bit of mid DSP up, so I'm just going to go in with a little bit of glue there and just smooth that down. Okay, so that's that. So can you see the windmill forming now? So we've got that one, then it turns, then it turns, and now I'm going to do this one now. So I'm going to slightly wedge, cut straight down my score line to the second score line. I am then going to get rid of those two on the bottom there. I am then going to go and wedge this side and then go back to this side to wedge that part of the flap. I am then going to turn it round and I'm going to slightly wedge this side. Okay, and then that's it there. So now that's what is meant by a windmill. There, 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 there. Okay, so let me just clear my work surface, and because I'm on camera I'm going to use my red tape again because this will make it fast. So just on the very edge I'm going to put my red tape. The red tape is very strong tape, so I'm only putting it on the very outside, so just right at the very end of this, signing it up. Okay, and then take that off, going around, and then do this, and then turn it round and do the last one. There we go. Okay, so that's there. Right, now the key with this, if you just rub along this red tape, that helps it adhere to the card. Now once this is adhered to the card, it makes it easy to lift off. So I tend to just go in the middle. You see how easy that is to lift off. Turn that round on each of the sides, easy to lift off, because once this red tape is stuck, there is no moving it. It will rip your card. It is very strong. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, I forgot to burnish, so I'll just go in and burnish a few of my crease marks. This is naughty now because I should have done this before I took the tape off, so I've got to be careful. Okay, right, now again we're just going to stick glue on the tab, and I'm just going to line that up, hold it in position, and then I'm going to get this one and put this in position, so it goes over the top like that, just making sure that that is square, and then if you tuck down, if you tuck this down while you've got those square, okay, and I'll finish that in a minute. And I stick this one down, excuse me, and now I've got a tickle in my throat, and we stick that down there like that. I can go in with this one and stick that down, and then just stick the last, make sure those corners are square. So, and the last one, to fight with the last one, I'm going to stick that down, there, and then I can bend in that one, and then the final one can be bent in, and then I just rub and burnish the box lid like that, and because it's got that strong tape on, it will reinforce the sticking. Excuse me. And now that fits beautifully on there. Now what I intend to do is I will tie this with ribbon and then stick a tag on it. But right, I've turned it all around. Okay, open it up and things are still in position. So just knocked that just slightly out of position. But that's going to hold it in position, and so it's going to look really nice when the person takes off the box lid. So it won't matter if they turn it upside down or anyway, it's still going to be great. And that's the advantage of these here. So I thank you very much for watching me today. Thank you for those that have commented. I will get back to your comments. I'm not able to comment unless I see your comments directly as I'm filming, so I'm not able to respond. So sorry about that, but I will respond after I finish recording and it's saved to my Facebook. So here are the two. It's finished. So which do you prefer? Who'd like the Baileys? Who'd like the whiskey? So 2 of the boxes. My next challenge that I've got is I'm going to make one for the Coca-Cola and Baileys, because my nephew likes Coca-Cola and Baileys. So I'm going to design a box to fit the Coca-Cola and Baileys, and it will have some of these Ritter Sports in as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching. Please, please share my video so it gets out there, because there might be people who do want to buy from my shop, which I'd much appreciate. You always get a gift from me, shopping with me. So I'd also like to know whether people would like card kits. If they'd like me to send out a card kit, show them how to do it on a Facebook Live, which they can go back to and make the card. So please let me know if you're interested in that, and I will begin to show you some options of what I would do, and could even make boxes and send you out the parts for this with the DSP, etc. The only thing that I cannot send you is stamped images. I can send you die cuts, but I can't send you the stamped images. You'd need to buy the stamped set. So again, thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate that you've dropped by today. So thank you. Goodbye.